here. What's up, guys? Happy Friday, right? Friday? No, it's Thursday. Happy Thursday, man. I hope you guys are having a good day. Maybe enjoyed some sports last night, some playoff basketball. A little bit of the blowout, but then a little bit of the comeback. And then, hey, it is what it is. The night before was great, and then we do it all over again tomorrow. But we are in the thick of the beginning of the baseball season, and these slate sizes are kind of preventing us from getting to a little groove. Not so much the slate sizes, the start times is what it is. You got to play with the hands that were dealt, but tonight we got 6 games on the main slate. That's what we're going to talk about here. So if you guys have already done a little bit of research, be sure to share your notes with the class. And if you haven't, well, then we're all in this together. I think we found a pretty cool format for this show that involves cracking the book open as a class and just going through a process here and checking some boxes, stuff like that. Hey, man, shout out to the live chat. I don't expect a lot of people for baseball streams. I really don't. But to see you guys in here chilling, some of you guys beat me to the stream. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to Sean V. Old Sean V says, why is Chalk Chase Vlad the thumbnail? Total chase. Never play a guy after a 3-homer game, even a monster like Vlad. Guaranteed he doesn't homer today. Sean, the thumbnail, when we put people on the thumbnail, it's not necessarily to recommend that player. It's to just show different faces of the league that are relevant to this slate. So the player is more so a talking point and a big discussion for game theory and strategy, if nothing else, more so than a vote to play him, right? So discussion on Vlad could be, hey, do we want to play Vlad? Is his ownership going to be too high? Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, his ownership's going to be high, but he's Vladimir Guerrero. But that you're it ain't that serious, you know? Thumbnails ain't that serious, I promise. What up, Conscious? What up, Paul? What's really good? Hope everyone's doing all right. Been a serene, happy day. Oh, you get a moment of zen from Paul. Shout out to Paul. AOD. Vlad got his hand stepped on. Yo, guys, I guess I brought it on myself, but man, what a day by Vladdy. And then, yeah, he got his hand stepped on by, I think, Aaron Hicks, and started bleeding immediately to the dugout. I thought the man broke a finger or something. I was like, oh, that sucks. Vladdy's hurt himself, and now he's out of the game. I even tweeted, oh, he's out of the game. I wish he was out of the game in retrospect. But, hey, man, what a beast. What can you do? That second pitch that he got off of Coley, man, that was like an inside jam shot, like off the plate, and he didn't even get the barrel on. Like it was dumb that he drove that out the park. What can you do though? What can you do? What up, Greg? What up, RC Bremen? Michael Lane? I was waiting for this. I already lost my Rays bet. Man, I saw that clip of the Rays defense on. I don't even know who the hitter was. It was like a little league home run. Scored. It played at 3. That's tough. Ohtani 100% tonight, says Greg. Maybe. What up, Kyle? What up, Steve? Here. Ohtani 10.8 on Fanduel, 3K cheaper on DK. Crazy. It is crazy, but remember, we don't want to overrate or overthink salary, at least this early, but also just for MLB DFS, points are points, right? And relative to the other pitchers on the slate, and I'm not, I haven't dived into the matchup or anything like that, but it's if you've reverse engineered a couple of these slates so far, there's been some expensive pitchers that people didn't play because they thought they were overpriced and vice versa. We just out here trying to get points. So if you think Ohtani has a chance to be a top 1, 2, or 3 score on the pitching side of things, I think he has to be considered no matter what, right? What up, Mike? Says, bro, some dumb stuff. I took $5 on Rays winning and 10 on something else that has to do with pitching. Man, that sucks. Variance, man. You'll learn it. If you're new to MLB, man, don't take any result seriously, whether you win or lose. It's a high variance sport. What up, Moki? Steve, can we talk about John Sterling's run home run? Yo, hey, man, I know John Sterling gets hate, right? He's an old senile man. He's a legend, but he gets the hate. I want you guys to know that off the bat, off the bat, I yelled, "It's gone, baby!" And Danny was sitting next to me on the couch. I was hyped for it to be like not even at the warning track. And I think it was Gurriel caught it, or not Gurriel, Raimel Tapia caught it. And I was just like, man, I got deked hard because first of all, when Stanton drives a fly ball, it's probably got like a 50% home run fly ball rate on that swing. And it just everyone felt it was gone. There was another one like that in that game too. But so I could forgive John Sterling for that one because I fell for it too. And maybe the camera deked me as well because it's gone but caught. Need to find me a really good Hail Mary 5 pick to do tonight. Come on, beast mode. 5, dude, to get 5 baseball picks right, do you understand the horseshoe that you have to have lodged in places where you wouldn't be comfortable? Like that's tough, man. Here we go with the core slates. Yeah. Rule number 1, never pick up the ball with your glove. Kiermaier should have gotten an error on that play. Yeah, and Kiermaier is one of the best defensive players in all of baseball. So to see him make a mistake is a little rare. Yeah. What up, Kickstart? What up, RC Player? Parker in the chat. Mock Wall. Yeah. In the summertime, that stand flyout's gone. I don't blame Sterling at all, but it was a classic Sterling. Well, it was. He had one in Fenway last year, I believe, as well. But man, I thought it was gone, bro. I thought it was gone. I thought the comeback was real. I thought we were going to neutralize Vladdy's ridiculous game. Yo, can we trade this guy out of the... Hey, next year, I don't know if you guys knew this yet. I'm sure you did because you guys are all goats that know everything about baseball. Next year, every team's going to play every team. So the division schedule where you play each other like 19 times, that's going to go away. So I'm glad that's going to be less games against Vladimir Guerrero Jr. because my goodness, did he go nuts last night. And I'll tell you what, if you ask me day to day who I think my favorite or the best reliever in baseball is, my answer is probably Jonathan Loáisiga. So I know he got 2 off of Garrett Cole, but he got 1 off of Jonathan Loáisiga. That's some premium names to take Yalbo, man. So I mean, what a day. Just don't parlay baseball. Maybe first 5s. But yeah, just don't parlay baseball. Like maybe, individual bets or round robin stuff like that. But this is in any sport. Getting 5 picks is ridiculously lucky. I don't want to say lucky, but you gotta go a lot. It's lucky. In baseball, oh my god, you're banking on 4 batted ball events. A lot of times. Guys that I'm on for homers, when they draw that walk in their first at bat or something like that, like, what are you gonna do? Hey, it sucks. So yeah, don't go crazy. Don't go crazy. I was on John Means over 4.5 strikeouts yesterday, and he had forearm tightness after like 3 innings. He retired 7 in a row, and then it flared up. So even more so earlier in the season, where weather, dense air, dead ball. Not stressed out pitchers, right? Not warmed up hitters. There's a lot to get this diesel engine going. So definitely focus on learning the nuances of baseball first before you try to match your NFL and your NBA daily play for betting and price pick stuff like that. If that makes sense, Yeah, Vladdy is nuts. When you purchase a subscription, do you get props and DFS? So, Phil, I don't do MLB props. I kind of don't do MLB props, meaning I can't project someone for a double or a triple or something like that. What I do have is tools that you can sniff out guys that you might think are in a good spot to do or exceed their player props. For instance, the K Factory. The way I've coded this is that you can see the long form math, plate appearances, pitches, a total pitches seen against, like, for instance, we'll read this together. This is Luis Severino. Like, that's not a fair one because he didn't pitch much last year. Let's go to Ohtani, right? Ohtani is going to be a pretty popular talking point today. So the way that the K Factory is set up is that you're looking at Shohei Ohtani against the Rangers, and this is the projected hitting lineup for the Rangers tonight. Hasn't been confirmed yet, or I haven't confirmed it in my spreadsheet yet. But what I've listed here is the plate appearances versus the handedness pitcher, the pitches seen versus that handedness, the pitches per plate appearance, meaning how many pitches to either get that player out or that player gets on base, the strikeout percentage, that player's handedness, and then we reverse it to the other side, the pitches per out against that handedness, the median, which is the average between the pitches per out for the pitcher against that handedness versus the hitter against that handedness pitcher, the pitcher K percentage against that handedness, the median on that, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of long form math, the swing and strike rate, the median between that. And then essentially you take your own pitch count in increments of 10. So if you think Ohtani gets to 80 pitches, I get a 6.5 strikeout number. If you think he gets 90, I get 7.3. You know what I'm saying? And then you guys can do the decision making. So I don't personally serve up props, projections. I might share some of the props that I'm on for the night, but it's an impossible sport to project. And then if you're looking for like total bases or hits or homers, stuff like that, we have the bomb detector and all that. But I definitely don't want people to sign up thinking that I have like specific projections on player props like I do for NBA. You know what I mean? Guys, how's the music? Too loud, too low? Need to fix it. I know it's loud in my headset, but I'm willing to live with that if it's fine for you guys, because I have noticed in replay that it really doesn't come across the video as much as it does in my head. The guy's goals to get a triple crown. Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast. What up, Jonathan Adams? What up, Andrew Martinez? Do you like Morton or Alcantara more on Fanduel? I haven't dug into much yet. We're gonna do this slate together, and then we're gonna pull away the fire. You know what I mean? Morton on Fanduel, 9K solid pit off of Ohtani, saves some salary. Yeah, and I think on Fanduel, there is a pretty stark difference with what I weight as important on Fanduel versus DK. On DK is what we call an efficiency site. You're gonna get taxed for hits, and then you're looking for strikeouts, stuff like that. Fanduel, the strikeout is lovely, but it's not as strong, and you don't really get nicks for hits or anything like that. You're just getting scores for what? An out to a strikeout, innings pitched, and if you get that quality start and that win, it's important as well. So a guy like Charlie Morton certainly could give up a couple of strikeouts in terms of strikeout potential, though he can get them, but he's probably more likely to get you in that 6th, 7th inning than some of these other pitchers early on, because he can go deeper, pitch to contact, and not waste as many pitches. You know what I mean? It's fine. Maybe a tad down, if anything, but it's cool. I got you, bro. All right, so right now we are at I don't know the number. I put it down just a little bit, right? Fanduel takes away points, only earned runs. Right, exactly. So paying up for a guy on Fanduel that feels like a weird name to pay up for on another site, on an efficiency site, it's actually a little bit easier to do because of you're not getting taxed for hits and all that. So a lot of times as we get to the thick of the season, my Fanduel pitching player pool are going to be guys I think can go 6 innings, give me a quality start, and then hopefully have a shot at the win. Not specifically exclusively, but that is an important part of their scoring to grab some extra points. And it's also something in the PrizePicks scoring as well, right? Wins and quality starts are hard to project 100%, but it is an important part of the scoring on Fanduel, so you have to try. And it's not that hard pre-flop to put pitchers in a good spot. The Waynos, the Mortons, the contact guys that can give you some length, and then when you see pitch counts around 100, something like that, cool. And then if they're Vegas favorite, that's you kind of lean that way for the dub, right? Little loud in the earbud, but I can deal. Nah, man, I want you guys to be able to chill. All right, I think we're there, right? I think that's good. What up, Renza? All right, let's do a commercial real quick, right? All right, throughout this stream, we're gonna be looking at the RunDFS.com MLB VIP spreadsheet. You guys know the drill, man. You want a piece of that? Add it to your your toolbox, your daily repertoire. Go to rundfs.com. Click VIP memberships, which is right here. Get signed up. Try a week pass if nothing else. And then once you get in there, click VIP portal. There's going to be a link to the baseball spreadsheet. We still got some NBA coverage. Josh still grinding the props. We're going to have a couple 4-game NBA slates. So NBA's not done yet. It's getting there. It's not done yet, but Josh is just, his whole life revolves around basketball and props. So still a lot of fire to get from him. And then, of course, a link to the baseball spreadsheet. And then most importantly, the rundfs.com premium Discord, which looks a little something like this. And then typically before lock. Now, it hasn't been every day because sometimes these slates are 11 in the morning and no one's awake or people at work. But typically, I'll spend some time here in the voice chat. You guys can chill out, talk some plays, and sometimes that bleeds over lock. We watch some baseball, stuff like that. Not as intense as basketball or what have you, but it's there. And if you guys are new to baseball betting, but more so baseball DFS, always hit me up. I don't mind talking with you guys. My reply time might be a little slow, but once I see you, I'll try and answer your questions. So, yeah, go join the rundfs.com premium stuff, and we will do some research. So, first thing I want to do is check out the weather. We're going to check out Roto-Grinders and Kevin Roth's weather report. See if there's any hot spots. We've had some I don't say rough weather, but we've had some unpredictable weather and more so unpredictable reaction to the weather. A couple postponements yesterday, a couple games that look like they shouldn't play. The other night, the Twins played the 7 innings into a game that was probably not supposed to go 3 innings and then get smoked. And then after 7 innings, the Dodgers have a big lead and they take a middle of the night rain delay and they fire back up after midnight Eastern. So when it comes to weather, we're not necessarily just focused on the elements that the Doppler radar can tell us is about to happen, but you also have to predict how the people in charge will react to it. And yeah, but today looks like Seattle, Chicago, 50 mile an hour wind gusts, but they are blowing right to left across the field. So dang, that's nuts. Thank God that's not going to outfield. And then Toronto at New York, yellow. So it's not ideal, but probably good enough. The storms will be clear prior to first pitch. We'll see a scattered rain shower behind them during the game. Expect they play. All right, cool. So shout out to Kevin Roth keeping us updated. That is our weather report. So with that said, we don't have to put any orange on anything. Maybe I'll put a smidge of yellow here in the spreadsheet. The next step I want to get knocked out, if you guys will give me a second. I want to get all the confirmed lineups that are out entered. And that'll help us out as we go game by game here and give me a little less to catch up on. So Aaron Judge is going to be batting second today. Anthony Rizzo batting third. So a pair of righties to lead this game off. Standing in the cleanup spot, DJ LeMahieu. Hey, LeMahieu's looking really good at the plate. Josh Donaldson, not so much. I would be all for LeMahieu reclaiming that leadoff spot sooner than later. And then the bottom of this Yankees lineup has been god-awful. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa and Kyle Higashioka or Jose Trevino not coming through, really. I know Higgy had that ridiculous spring with a lot of homers, and we've seen some pop out of him. So far, really non-competitive at bats. All right, Royals lineup is in. I think I had that earlier. And then the Rockies. What a weird couple teams that have start times throughout the night that are already out. CJ Cron, Brendan Rodgers, Ryan McMahon batting sixth here. Randall Grichuk. Hello, I am Elias batting eighth. I can be your hero, baby. Jose Iglesias in the ninth spot for the Rockies. Boom, we're good on that. And then we do have a Braves lineup now, so we'll get that punched in. Ozzie Albies, Matt Olson. I hate Austin. Austin Riley, Marcell Ozuna, Travis d'Arnaud is batting fifth. Eddie Rosario, Adam Duvall, Alex Dickerson. Hold me close, honey Dansby. Dansby Swanson batting ninth. Boom. All right, that's everything. Cool. Now we can go game by game here, and we'll take another look at chat. Get yourself some cordless Beat headphones. Imagine if you're playing Kodak Gremlin. Now I had to play royalty free stuff, bro. You know what I mean? I got tagged and then released the other day off of some beat. Shout out to the producer for releasing that for me. Yankees only bad weather, cool. Sometimes the song will start and you're like, okay. You get that stank face. And then you're like, wait, I'm not a rapper. Why I feel like I'm gonna drop 16 real quick. Then I got nothing in the tank, you know what I mean? Blue Jays at the Yankees. First game on the docket. An hour between the Rangers game. It's like an island East Coast game. That's weird. Kevin Gausman on the bump for the Blue Jays. And on the bump for the Yankees, my favorite pitcher, Luis Severino. He has one start under his belt so far this season. We'll look at the metrics on that. Hey, so does Kevin Gausman. Well, coming into this season, Kevin Gausman last year held a 3.42 Sierra, a 3.49 expected ERA, 104 whip, a 30% K rate, 15% swing and strike rate. That's what you want. So I want to validate both pitchers here with, looking at their first game and the results. And then what I like about this stretch now, we're starting to get pitchers on their second start. Now we can kind of have a better idea of pitch counts, right? Last week we're kind of guessing based off of final numbers and spring training, stuff like that. But if you guys are wanting to know how we can start diving into the results of appearances so far, because I'm probably not going to code in this year's stats on the index portal probably for another 3 starts, right? I think after 3 starts then we can kind of start, but like 5 innings, 9 innings, 11 innings, like it's just going to be, I'm not going to say not valuable information, but it's not going to be I don't want people to overweight it without understanding the context, and then just understanding how some pitchers may be a little bit above their head, below their head, maybe regression, progression. Well, Kevin Gausman, his first game against the Texas Rangers, he went 5 innings. He allowed 8 hits, 3 earnings, 9 K per 9 in that one, a 2.46 xFIP. So these are the numbers I'm focusing on when I want to look at a pitcher's results in just a single game sample size to start the season. I'm going to be looking for the xFIP. I'm going to be looking for the BABIP. He had a 471 BABIP that game, so that's a little unlucky versus 8 hits in 5 innings. And then we're going to look at batted ball data for that game. And I'm going to be focused on hard contact rate, stuff like that. In that game, he had a 29% hard contact rate, so that's not bad. And when you see 40% and better, that's when you're like, oh man, he's allowing some barrels. Well, 29%, we can forgive that. And then the ground ball rate, 41% ground ball rate. It looks like his problem this game was the line drives. And if we look at the last couple years for Kevin Gausman, he has allowed some line drives to righties when you get past last year, but about 20 to 23% is usual. So that's not too crazy, right? 29 in a 1-game sample size, whatever, and a 1.4 ground ball to fly ball rate. And then I want to look at plate discipline. I want to see the swing and strike rate, 20%. That's stupid. 12 to 15% is like the elite level, and that's probably where he's going to regress pretty soon. But it's a good sign that he's missing bats early on. The first pitch strike rate, 68%. I like to be around 70 or better, so that's not too far off the mark. And then when I look at pitch value, I'm going to focus on velo this year versus what we have logged. So 42% usage on that fastball in that first game, almost 94 mile an hour on that fastball velocity, 82 mile an hour on that slurve, 84 on that changeup, 84 on that splitter. So if we go to the pitch report here, 95, 85, 92. So, all right, he's right in line where he needs to be. With that said, 8,500 for a dude who's missing bats at his clip is certainly a nice price to tap into. A little bit of a ceiling against a Yankees team that will absolutely give you some strikeout upside. He went 80 pitches that last start, so I would probably clock him for 90 to 95 if all's going well. And if we put 90 to 95 versus this confirmed lineup at 90 pitches, I'm getting 7.5 strikeouts. So certainly looks like a solid play here. And then what we really like about him lately is he's been keeping the ball in the park. Now last year might be a little bit of of Giants cooking, but on the road last year, 0.82 home run per nine was just fine. So if he can keep the ball in the park against the Yankees, his strikeout data suggests that he could have a really, really strong game. And there's going to be plenty of times this season where people are just scared to pitch against the Yankees because of the power in this lineup. But Kevin Gausman has that strikeout upside, like we saw with Alek Manoah the other day, where if he misses bats, he could have a really strong fantasy game. So early on, when I create a pitcher pool, I'm going to add Kevin Gausman to the list here. And that's all I got to say about that. The odds of this game, we've got the Yankees implied for 4.6, so that's not crazy. Minus 136. You know what I'm going to look at? The other day, the Yankees were underdogs on the first 5, but then favorites for the full game. And I thought that was interpreting the bullpen being super strong, and then the starters were swaying in the Blue Jays. If any of you guys laid some action on this game, is it the same here? Because I could see it being the same here, where the Blue Jays would be favored first 5 and the Yankees favored on the game. All right, with that said, let's look into Severino. Severino really did not pitch much last year, but we do have some sample on him this year, so kind of like what we just did with Gausman, we're going to do it with Severino as well. He went to 65 pitches in that last start, and him missing as much time as he did, I would imagine they're going to be slow with him. Yesterday, Aaron Boone pulled Garrett Cole in the middle of an inning at was it 75 pitches? I think it was either 75 or 85. Let me double check. But it was like a strict. He went 85. All right, so 85 pitches. And that's Garrett Cole. That's the guy that's been pitching for a while. So if Severino gets yanked at like 75 pitches here and they just give him an extra 10, I wouldn't be surprised. So with that, I got to be really, really cautious on even having interest in playing him at 7.4K, looking for 14, 15 fantasy points. So I don't think he's going to make the cut here, but we do need to research him anyway just to see if we want to pick on him because we don't have a whole lot of batted ball data in big league sample size so far since he only pitched a couple of innings last year. So let's go to split so far for Severino. He faced mostly righties so far, and that's fine. The Blue Jays are going to be mostly righty, and then the batted ball data tells us 40% hard contact rate, not what you want. 40% pull rate, also not what you want. The ground ball rate is great, though. 4.0 ground ball to fly ball rate. Yeah, 80% ground ball. Yeah, that's really, really good. And then the hard contact is 40% to righty. So really, really small sample size here. And it was the Red Sox, good team. Blue Jays arguably a better team. So I'm not sure what we should do with this. I think we're going to take the lazy approach. We're going to say these are two good offenses in mass entry. I probably want a piece of both of them. I think I do play some Gausman. I think I stay away from Severino. I just don't know how often he's going to go 5+ innings here and give me something that I need to have. And then it's just really a bad matchup. At least with a scary matchup like the Yankees, at least they'll give you some strikeouts here and there. That's not really the case with the Blue Jays. Only Matt Chapman and Zach Collins in this projected lineup have strikeout rates against righties that are really attackable over 20%. So let's say I give Severino, I can't even do that because there's not enough. I only have 6 innings of sample size. So it would be kind of irresponsible to over project him. So I'm going to not play Severino today. I'm going to play some Gausman. I'm going to play both offenses, but I'll probably be more likely to say that Gausman's probability of success is higher than the ownership, but I haven't tapped into ownership yet. I will have a pulse on ownership in a couple of hours. So if you guys do want to continue the baseball chatter, make sure to check out the Osmo channel. Check out the deeper dive first, the strategy show, and then the live before lock. Me and Eric are going to count you down, and then we'll have a better pulse on ownership and stuff like that. So absolutely keep the day going. You got no basketball today, all right? Let's watch some baseball, guys. Dang it. All right, let's get caught up on chat. Patiently waiting for that Dickerson game to come through for my Brave stacks. Man, Braves on that cross-country travel. No, Sean. Sean would be wilding. Is it just me or I can't hear? It's just you? All right, cool. You guys had me thinking I was spitting fire for 20 minutes and no one could hear me. Seems like these pitchers with elite breaking stuff strike the Yankees out at a high clip. Yeah. For sure. A lot of swing and missing. And, Yankees are power swinging out there, right? They're hitting square, not X. Huh? Who gets that? If Vladdy sits out with his hand, you feel different about Severino? No, Steve, I don't think I could because Severino is going to have a glass ceiling and pitch count. And even if Vladdy's out, I mean, who are they going to replace him with? I would say it was Teoscar Hernandez that got hurt yesterday. He's not in the projected lineup. So I just don't think that Severino's pitch count is going to be high enough that I think he gives me something that I can't miss out on. You know what I mean? Unless you guys start something different. To go from for how much time Severino has missed and how many hiccups and how many late, you know what I mean? Even in spring training this year, he had a scare. So I know the normal progression is 10, 15 pitches. Like I think 75 is my absolute utter cap. And this being a low strikeout team, maybe they do save his pitch count and he can go a little bit deeper. But I just can't really see him all that commonly falling into an optimal lineup with a low pitch count like that versus some of the other options here. So Vladdy wouldn't make me feel any different, but I don't think Vladdy sits. I think there's a good chance Vladdy like DHs with Teoscar Hernandez out. I guess top. I don't know. I really don't know. But no, I wouldn't change my stance on Sevy. Also would be okay if they decided not to throw a baseball in the vicinity of Vladimir Guerrero tonight. Because he's the only reason they won that game last night. Man, 100 plus in chat? You're kidding, bro. That's crazy. Where's Dang Lazy Mofo at? Where's my old school Lorenza? Yo, you guys remember grinding these streams every day to 30 people? Y'all are the best. Eric, come on, I can't listen to Kermit the Frog, man. You a hater. Eric's the GOAT. It's cool to see you on also. I appreciate that. MLB The Show reference. Let's go. Gun and EMAC. EMAC's fun too. I think me and EMAC are booked on Saturday. Don't quote me on that. All right, let's move on to the next game. So, I mean, if you took anything away from that, so chat. I am curious because I noticed a lot of the content that I've done elsewhere is really me telling you guys what percentage of stacks I'm gonna have. Blah blah blah. What do you guys do in chat? Are you guys single entry? Are you running 5 lineups? Are you hand building 10 or less lineups? Or are you running 100, 150? Because I want to know how to speak your language a little bit better. Because I know I can get really scummy and I don't want to say lazy, but oftentimes when we get to a slate with 10 teams, I'm probably stacking 6 or 7 of them. You know what I mean? So I'm curious to see what the average viewer of mine is doing. If you're focused on a couple of lineups, that's cool. Maybe I can speak a little bit better to that. But I am curious to see what your style of play is. Anyway, let's move on to the Rangers game while you guys fill that out. We have a Rangers lineup confirmed, and it's going to be Brad Miller, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Mitch Gava, Nate Lowe, Adolis Garcia, Cole Calhoun, Willie Calhoun. No relation. One's like Dominican and the other's white. I don't know if Willie Calhoun's Dominican. That's an assumption. That was wrong with me. But I imagine. What do we get on the roof here? I think we just got something about this roof in Globe Life. Did you guys say Globe Life will open the roof Thursday? Okay, so with that in mind, it's probably between 70 to 80 degrees. It's about 74 degrees where I'm at, and I'm probably like an hour and a half away. Looking at this weather tool, it looks like it could be 75. So it's not blazing hot, but it's definitely better than some of the 50 degree, 40 degree temperatures we've had elsewhere. And maybe the airflow a little looser here. So maybe some of those fly balls get boosted and stuff like that. So we got Shohei Ohtani on the bump against the Rangers. Some reason Ohtani is 7,900 on DraftKings versus 10.8 on Fanduel. Again, value subjective. We're looking for points no matter what, but that's kind of a crazy drastic price between the two sites. They can't figure out how to represent Ohtani, but that's okay. We can. Last year, Ohtani had a 29% K rate on the road, 104 home run per 9, and then overall a 3.32 expected ERA, 29% K rate, almost a 13% swing and strike rate, 15.9% STR, that's called strike, swing and strike, stuff like that. And then a 7% barrel rate. So pretty solid stuff. We can go dive into his first game as a pitcher. Easy enough. They hit an X, not square. See, I hit X because I'm lazy. I just can't do the square, but you know what I mean. Unless you mean unless X is power on Xbox. But for me, let's see. Yeah, this is power swing. This is a contact swing. I do all contact swing, you know. Single entry, says Vinny. Man, you got to be really patient to do some single entries and 3 entry stuff like that, because the variance is so thick, and then you get like so. Maybe it's you. I started as a couple lineup. I would get so attached to a couple players, and I just had no diversification in my lineup. So yeah, most of the time single entry, Jeremy. That's cool. 20 max, 150 plus is Tamaka's. So I think my favorite is 50 to 100. I track, my most profitable slates. My most likely outcome when I run 150 is I lose money. But when I run 50 to 100, that's when I've won my most tournaments for baseball and just had my best profit. So that's kind of my happy medium. And it's, influenced by the top heavy payout structure, right? More, unless you're top five in a tournament on 150, you're probably going to have a net loss. But I don't know. Hand building about 6-10 lineups on a full slate. I like that. If I'm off, I do research. It's more old school metrics to finalize everything with the spreadsheet. Let's go. I like that too. I like doing my own research and then looking at other stuff to kind of validate what I was thinking and hopefully not get off of the gut calls, Can you still play an Angel stack without Ohtani? I don't like that at all. I don't. But we'll discuss it. Anyway, let me look into Ohtani's first start here. Because this is ugly. Like, I don't... So let's go to batted ball. Sites have a real problem listing his stuff. So we're going to go look at April 7th. And on April 7th, he threw 80 pitches. So we probably could get to 90 pitches, maybe 95. On April 7th, we have... So I don't know if this is showing his hitting metrics, right? Oh, pitching. Here we go. 4.2 innings on April 7th. A 0.72 xFIP. That's incredible, especially against a lineup like Houston. An 80% left on base. 444 BABIP. He was unlucky with that. A 193 walk per nine. A 17.36 K per nine. What's the plate discipline stuff? A 15% swing and strike rate. A 79% first pitch strike. That's what I like to see, man. Pitchers getting ahead early and often. And then, what was the ground ball rate? 33%. He's pretty split on line drive, ground ball, but he didn't have a whole lot of batted ball event data to really kind of shake those numbers. So all things considered, it looks like he's looking pretty doggone good. And then velocity, 98 on the fastball, 85 on the slider, 78 on the curveball. So he's looking pretty good. With that said, I do have respect for the Rangers offense. Is Nate low, Nathaniel low now? Yes. I do have respect for the Rangers offense. So I might, especially on DraftKings, I might take the other side of this coin in the 50 to 100. Like I said, that's where we can take some of those leverage stances. But I'm absolutely, I understand why people want to play Ohtani. 7.9K is way too low. So I do think I have to add Ohtani to the mix just because he is a GOAT. And he has a pretty decently stretched out pitch count expectation. But like I said, with the roof open out here in Texas, there's a couple power bats I'm a little bit scared of. A lot of 200 plus ISOs against righties Cole Calhoun, Adolis Garcia, Mitch Garver, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Brad Miller. Like, these are all guys that you've seen it in the first series against Toronto. They have some pop. So I'm going to play both sides of the fence, but absolutely agree with the sentiment that 7.9K on DraftKings, too cheap for Ohtani. So I'm going to play both sides there. And then Dane Dunning at 6,400. Let's talk about him, because I was interested in John Gray. I was watching some of his spring training stuff, and they apparently brought in a new pitching coach, and this guy's been working on a new slider with John Gray, but Dane Dunning's also picked up this slider. So I was wanting to see how Dunning would look early on, because he's had some glimmers of hope. He went 5 innings, 5 hits allowed, 4 Ks, 10 ground balls, 3 fly balls. So 74 pitches. Maybe we get him to 85 pitches, maybe even 90 if he's dealing. And this Angels lineup, past Trout, past Ohtani, kind of sucks with a lot of strikeout propensity. So let's look at Dunning's pitch report coming into this season. Fastball, slider, cutter, curveball, and they all had really negative grades past the fastball. So let's maybe check out the worth of those pitches, not only on Fangraphs, but maybe we pull up some Baseball Savant. What do you guys think? Do I already have that open? I do. Hand build daily on Fanduel. I put my lineups in a quarter to export them, save contests. That's cool. I like the mini max, man. DraftKings either makes me try to go broke, max entering the $15, or makes me feel like a peasant, max entering the mini max. Like, I wish DK had a little bit more $3 to $5 150 maxes, but instead I'm balling on a budget. You know what I mean? There's just like a giant leap. Fanduel's usually a little bit better, but I do kind of like playing 5 players from a team, although that's probably kind of like lazy. What am I here for? Dane Dunning. Did I not? Oh, yeah, it's already open. Hello. Show random video. That's great. All right. Game log for Mr. Dunning. They haven't made their 22 data as conveniently sortable, but in 2022, 6.3% barrel rate so far. Again, the batted ball event is just 16, so there's only been 16 balls in play on them. 50% hard hit rate. We would like that to come backwards. K rate's down a little bit, and then looking on the Fangraphs page, I want to look at where swing and strike rate got, if anything, just 8%. So not missing bats even with this new slider. And a 65% first pitch strike. So that's also not what you want. We can forgive some of these anomalic numbers on a 1-game sample size. So we can go back to last year. Heck, we can just look in the spreadsheet for that. He came into this season with a 10% swing and strike rate. So he's not a massive whiff guy anyway. But I was hoping that would go forward and not backwards with this hyped up slider that John Gray looks pretty good in using. 18.5% C strike rate. So, guys, I think I'm going to play some Dane Dunning. I know none of those numbers made me feel warm and fuzzy here. But you know what makes me feel warm and fuzzy? 1 is 6.4K. 2 is all of this red in this K percentage column. Ohtani, 27% K rate to righties. Mike Trout, we get it. Those guys are a problem. They might get you. But then you start dipping into the shallow area of the pool here. Rendon did get a bomb the other night. Maybe he's coming back. But Jared Walsh, 1-4. Jack Mayfield, 1-4. Brandon Marsh, Jose Rojas, Max Stassi, Tyler Wade, former Yankee great. There's a lot of strikeout equity here. And Dane Dunning can, maybe tap into some strikeouts on accident. If we are looking for a little bit of salary savings and 6,400, we treat that like a hitter. Can we get home run points? Can we get double digits? I'd be somewhat intrigued, right? 8.5 against Toronto. I'm looking to maybe get to 12 to 14 as an SP2 to service a high octane stack. I might throw him in the back end of the player pool. Let me give him Let me give him 85. Let me give him 80 pitches and 90 pitches. Dane Dunning at 80 pitches, 5.8 Ks, 96.5 against this lineup. I'll take some shares, man. I will. And I do like the ground ball rate to eat some innings here. So, DraftKings only, Dane Dunning. Anybody want to take that plunge with me? And then as far as stacking this game, when Ohtani pitches, you can't stack the Angels. You just can't. So we'll let Mike Trout fall where he'll fall. If Rendon or Jared Walsh fell into a lineup, cool. Tap into the Rangers bullpen. Rangers have an implied run total of 4.7, so it's up there, and they're pretty strong favorites against. Or the Angels is up there, and they're pretty strong favorites against the Rangers. But they just from a DFS stack perspective, you're extremely limited without Ohtani. I mean, he's giving you home run potential, he's giving you stolen base potential. He's right in front of Trout. Tap into that correlation, and I don't have a feeling to get to like Rojas or Stassi, so I'm with fading the Angels like 5-man stack in my optos, but we'll allow the obvious guys to fall where they are. Maybe if you want a 2-man stack, and go for it. And like I said, the Ranger side, I'm gonna stack the Rangers just based on the talent here. There are some moving pieces in their benefit, just because roof open, stuff like that. And sometimes Ohtani will collapse, he'll crumble, kind of like we saw Yu Darvish, right? No hitter in his first outing, gets absolutely smacked the second outing. So it's not a 0% sum of range of outcome for me, at least, because I do. Maybe I'm the high guy on this Rangers offense for DFS, but I just think they're a lot of fun. Ohtani last year did allow some homers to lefties, and there's some power lefties in this lineup. Brad Miller, Corey Seager, they can get into some. And then Mitch Garver hits righties just fine. He actually has a 4+ rating on the bomb detector. So if these guys aren't striking out, maybe Ohtani's having a little bit of an off day. Little humid Texas temperature get to him. Man, I'll buy into it. Fastball, slider, cutter for Ohtani. No one has great grades against all three of those pitches, so we're just playing ranges of outcomes. And I think there's a decent chunk. Decent chance. I don't know if you take fifth, you lose money with 150. See, Cola, that's what I'm saying. That's why I find myself being more 50 to 100. What up, Chuck? Eric has the GOAT contrarian plays. I like the way he thinks. Yeah, man. If I could be honest with you guys, I love to do collaborations with other YouTubers, and you see me do it in NFL. Found my boy Luke. I watched some of his content. I was like, man, Luke is super underappreciated. He's sharp as a whistle, sharp as a tack. So I pulled him. I was like, hey, man, let's do some content together. He's like, cool, we did it. And now he's blowing up. His golf content's taking off. Same thing with NBA. I like to collab with others. I want to collab with baseball content creators. So I search around YouTube and I click a video. This guy has BVP. He's got 3 homers and 12 at-bats, and he's hot in his last 5 games. Like, none of that content is valuable to me. So without like throwing stones, like I can't find nobody to collab with. And when I'm looking for these people, I'm like, man, these people just don't exist. It's like, you guys don't know how good the crew at Osmo is to understand the advanced metrics that are actually actionable, actually have value versus some of the other content out there. With that said, if you know anybody that is grinding a YouTube or MLB DFS content and I'm missing out on that, I definitely want to collab with others and I just talk to myself for 2 hours. But Eric's contrarian takes are great, but also just like all of those guys that they put on their baseball shows are so smart. And it's crazy how we're in 2022. Advanced analytics have never been easier to process and use, and so much content out there is still stuck on BVP and ERA, and this pitcher always does well against this team, and it's just like that team hasn't been the same. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. But I don't know why your comment there just made me like think about how good that crew is over there. So I'm always happy to talk baseball with the Osmo crew. Suzuki's been balling. Suzuki's a beast, and I was talking about it in the first couple streams. Suzuki has numbers where he's coming from overseas. his power numbers not only rivaled Ohtani, but were kind of better than Ohtani. And to see him opening up the first couple of days on the slate at like 2K, I was like, man, I want some of that. And I know he had some tough matchups, but even who did he homer off of? Was it Woodruff or Peralta? He didn't get a cheapie, and he's been really, really, really good. Badu, yeah. Do your tools have any particular side for just cash games compared to tournaments? I mean, for cash games. So I would like to think of the spreadsheet not so much as a tool. It is a tool, yes, but like I like to present the information that I like to use to make my decisions so that you guys can make your decisions, because ultimately that's my goal. I don't want to give you picks. I don't want to give you blah, blah, blah. I'll give you what I'm doing, but ultimately I want you guys to be able to understand the information and make your own picks, man. Understand the pitch report, stuff like that. So like everyone has a different process, right? And you're already seeing in the chat, man, I'm running 50 to 100. Somebody's running 1 to 3, blah, blah, blah. So if I was running 1 to 3, I'd probably have a little stronger, or if I'm playing cash versus terms, I probably have a stronger weight on floor, guys that hit for average, stuff like that. So I don't have specifically a tool to get that, but I present the information so that you can get it pretty easily. The way this index portal is set up is to ideally so you can kind of consume a slate within 30 minutes, right? Go game by game. Red means bad, green means good. What pitcher's good? All right, cool. Bomb detector likes these guys. Strikeout factory likes these guys. Weather's good. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really separate risk diverse contests, if that makes sense, for just cash games compared to tournaments. So like for cash games, if you wanted to lean more on average here or OPS is probably the best starting point for to encapsulate everything. Whereas ISO, sometimes you're going to get big ISO numbers with like a 210 average, right? ISO is just slugging minus batting average. So you're getting on base a little less, but when you do, it's because of power, and power is king in baseball. Bias is questionable. All right. Just got here going. What up, Team Undergram? Who the stacks so far? Right now I'm going to stack Yankees, Blue Jays, Rangers. But that's like every game. I think Trout is no longer a top 5 player. I think that's a take. Top 5 player. If I had to like snap call a top 5, Vladimir Guerrero, Juan Soto. Mike Trout's still in the top 5 for me. There's no way I'm taking him out of the top 5. Not yet. He's earned that. You know what I mean? Big Daddy J, not ready for 150. Started with 3 and have been cashing 2 to 3, 4x. Thanks to you. I appreciate that. Up to 6 to 8 by hand. Learning so much from you. The way you teach, I get it. Please think of yourself as a teacher. I appreciate that. Also, you are helping so many. A few minutes every stream to throw a bone to 20 and under lineups, pitcher spot. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I appreciate that. I like to be more of an ambassador because, like I said, this is a hard sport to get, and it can be a very frustrating sport to try and learn. I know that. You know, like yesterday, I was head over heels for John Means 4.5 strikeouts. When he gets hurt, I'm numb to it, but I saw people, tilting in the free Discord, like, oh, I had $100 on that. It's just like, that's baseball, man. It happens. Injuries, Trout ain't done by any chance. No, I can't take Trout out of the mix. I can name 5 to 7 players I'd rather have than Trout. Numbers don't lie. I mean, if you, and I don't want to open up a barbershop debate, but if you ever just want to create an obscure top 5 list and just lean on one stat, it should be WAR. So if you take any player in his last 100 games in their WAR, their wins above replacement, there's not many above Trout, if any. You know what I mean? So I can't take him out the top 5. I just can't. Or else more people not allowed to guest on other content creators. I don't know, Steve. I haven't, I'm sure they are. But what I mean, I don't mind helping younger channels. And then, this is what I'm saying. It's like there's no, past the small circle here, there is not a whole lot of great actionable MLB information, How much Connor Joe? We'll see. Yeah. What up, Nate? I never said Trout dumb, but he definitely fallen off a little. Has he? I mean, has he? Come on, Aaron. Maybe he's not in like prime years, but you gotta understand, Trout is still young. Like 30 is nothing. Let's see. I know last year he lost a lot, right? He was injured a lot. 2.5 WAR. 2.5 WAR on 53 games, right? 36 games the year after. I get it. He didn't play, but 8, 9, 10. If he's gonna be a 7 WAR player, like he still might be in my mix here. So I don't know. I don't think it's like crazy to think he's not the same as he was, or he's not as valuable as he was. But it's kind of, I can't name 5 players I'd have right now on my team today over Mike Trout. Vladdy, Juan Soto, guys like that, sure. Maybe a Wander Franco. You know what I mean? Like Trout is still Mike Trout. He is still Mike Trout. Trout got propped and way too high too early. What? Freddie Freeman, maybe. I think of the value of the player from both ways, right? Defensively, Trout's a stud. Offensively, Trout's a stud. There's a lot of great offensive players or a lot of great defenses. It's just finding that happy, true 5-tool max player. Trey Turner? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I would say if your argument is just based on him in the last 2 years not playing, sure. But like from when he has played, he's looked pretty doggone good. So I'm not gonna take Mike. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna dethrone him. It's not crazy to think there are better players, but it's crazy to think Mike Trout's not a GOAT. Anyway, we're off the rails. Let's move on to the Braves and the Padres. Charlie Morton on the bump, taking out Joe Musgrove. We've got, man, I love this. All these pitchers have a game under their belt now. We can kind of get a lean. Braves lineup is confirmed. Padres lineup still not. Very low scoring game projection-wise. 3.8 run total for the Braves, 3.9 for the Padres. Let's go pull up Mr. Morton's first game. I believe I played him. I want to say it was, the Reds, maybe? Game log it. Play discipline. 7.7% swinging strike rate. That's fine. We don't really play Charlie Morton for strikeouts. He can get them, but that's not why we play him. Last year, 31% K rate to lefties, 25% K rate to righties, 12% swinging strike rate. I like to play him to eat some innings and throw some strikes. Last year, 7% walk rate, 7% walk rate to lefties, 7.5%, I guess, aggregate. And the barrel rate, really, really low. The ground ball rate, really, really high. So maybe we'd like to see the swing and strike rate go up another 2.5%, 3%, but it's still a 1-game sample size, so I'm not going to overreact to 68% first pitch strike. Want that a little bit higher, but it is what it is. It's not bad. 94 on his fastball, cutter at 87, and he used that just 3% of the time. Curveball at 80%, used that 40% of the time. So that curveball is the pitch that we want to focus on here, because that's kind of his get me over pitch, and he eats a lot of innings with that pitch. Last year used it 37% of the time. His best pitch by far. Actually, some really plus grades against curveballs in general here on the Padres projected line of Trent Grisham, Austin Nola, Jake Cronenworth. I wonder if that's due to lack of sample size, because those are not necessarily names that I'm running to or away from on a day-to-day basis. So something to watch. But just in terms of respecting Vegas totals, both pitches probably should be considered. So I'm going to add, I'm going to at least add Morton to the back end of the pitcher playing pool. And he's one of those guys that might have a little bit more value on Fanduel, just because he can likely get you through 6 innings because of his ability to not give up bases and eat some innings. He got 5.1 innings off of 78 pitches. So could we get to 90 pitches today and then 6 innings? And then if he lives up to this run total, we can imply him for the quality start. We can't really bank on him getting a win for either pitcher, but the quality start could be important for our Fanduel lean. So I think he holds a little bit more weight, a little more value on Fanduel. And then strikeout-wise, not a ton of Ks in this Padres lineup anyway. So on that 90-pitch projection, let's go to K Factory. I'm getting 6 strikeouts. If we can get to a strikeout per inning, I'll take it. Sure. All right, so a little bit of him. Power numbers, he really doesn't have a power problem, and that's because he has such a great ground ball rate. So there's not much to love to pick on here. And he didn't have any true leaks. Maybe the xFIP to both sides of the plate being at 3.4, something you look for to here and there have a bad day. But for the most part, he's been really doggone good, and he keeps the ball in the park. So he's not somebody that profiles as somebody we want to pick on, so I can't really rank the Padres as the top stack. And then vice versa, Joe Musgrove, we've got a game for him under the belt. He was against the D-backs, right? Went 6 innings against the Diamondbacks, 8 strikeouts, dig of a bomb and 5 hits with no walks. So he's throwing strikes, 5 to 4 ground ball to fly ball ratio, 74 pitches. So maybe 85 to 90 pitches today, maybe. And then let's go check out the batted ball data, the advanced metrics of that first start. See if we've got anything we can take away. Let's go game log. And let's go plate discipline. Gosh darn it. Trout striking out 27%. I'm just saying, number 1 player. Strikeout rates are so irrelevant. Ohtani struck out 27% last year, and he won MVP. Obviously, he's a unicorn, but miss me with strikeout rates, man. It's not like the difference between striking out 20% and grounding into a double play 5%. You know what I mean? Like, strikeout rates are irrelevant. Like, they're really not. Especially if you're trying to, take a player's value away from what he's doing offensively. If you strike out 30%, but you're still hitting 300, what's the problem, right? The offensive result's still there. And I'd rather you strike out than ground into a double play or something like that. So, I don't mean that to sound snippy, Aaron. I love you. I don't mean that in a rude way. I'm sorry. 13.5% swinging strike rate against Arizona. That's good. The first pitch strike, would like to see it a little bit better, 63%. Again, we don't want to go too crazy with 1 game sample sizes because maybe he missed a couple pitches or a couple bad calls, something like that. But I like the swing and strike rate being where it's at. Then when we look at pitch type, 92 velocity on the fastball, 89 on the cutter, 80 on the curveball, 85 on the changeup. So is that in line with what we had from last year? 92 on the fastball. A little lower, but not extreme. So, all right, cool. Yeah. I think I currently respect the Braves offense a little bit more than this Padres offense. You guys feel the same? If so, I'm going to play Musgrove just because he's 7.6K. But I will probably be more prone to get into some Braves stacks versus Padres stacks. Like if I had to choose between the two teams right now, I'm probably getting some action on the road Braves team, getting that 9th inning, maybe tapping into a bullpen. Though I don't hate the Padres bullpen per se. Matter of fact, I know they have Pierce Johnson, Craig Stammen, guys like that. So what we've seen from this bullpen: Steven Wilson went yesterday, then 2 days ago. Austin Adams, Chris, Lamet pitched 2 days ago. He probably wouldn't be active today. So today you probably see Taylor Rogers. He got traded from the Twins for Chris Paddock. So if he comes into the game today, that would be really, really nice, especially if he hits a lane that has like Albies and like Marcell Ozuna, Austin Riley, guys like that. They only have 1 lefty. Maybe Craig Stammen. Maybe Pierce Johnson. All right. So I am going to get to some Brave stacks, but it's more so betting on the talent than betting on the demise of Joe Musgrove. And I will have both pitchers in the player pool. So let's put Musgrove a little bit lower, just because I got respect. With that said, I mean, Vegas is not implying the Braves to do much, and they got this game overall being pretty low scoring. Temps in the 60s. So it is what it is. It's just respect on both pitchers' names. Padres lineup is out. All right, cool. Let's get that punched in. I appreciate that. I have to find it. There it is. So you're going to throw Trent Grisham, Austin Nola, Manny Machado, Cronenworth, Luke Voigt, Hosmer, Will Myers is batting 7th, Jerkson, Profar, CJ Abrams. All right, so we had the right players. Just the 7 and 8 spot was a little switch. I love Trout, but some folks are already ranking him top 10 all time. That's wild. Is it? Man, I didn't. There's a lot of lack of believing in Mike Trout. Guys, Mike Trout is the GOAT. Like, what? Please don't tell me you're using a 2-week sample size to say Trout sucks. Yeah, I don't, man. I can't. What a polarizing topic. I thought Mike Trout is universally accepted as the best player in baseball, especially over the last 10 years. That's not even an argument, y'all. Like, what? Come on. Am I really gonna stop what I'm doing here that's fine. Let's do it. All right, let's go use Fangraphs here to let's just do a quick query, right? 10 years, what? 2012 to today. Minimum plate appearances, qualified, push it, and let's sort it by WAR. Mike Trout has 77.3 WAR. That is 25 more than the second highest Buster Posey in the last 10 years. 45.8 is the next guy in Paul Goldschmidt. I mean, let's go to the beginning of baseball. How far down do we got to go to get to Mike Trout? And Mike Trout's not done. He's got half a career left, right? So Control F, Trout. He is the 41st, and this is, you know, there's different places that track WAR. But you're telling me he's top 40 in the history of ever in WAR? And he could have another 10 years left. I mean, at 78 right now. Number 1 is Babe Ruth, obviously. But to get the top 5, he basically, man, I don't know, man. Y'all are, some of you guys gotta do some work on who Mike Trout is, man. Mike Trout's, he's different. He's built different. But Soto, Vlad, and Acuna are so much better than Trout today. It's a shame. I mean, yeah, Swan. Like, if I had to name a top 5, and Acuna, I mean, aren't you discrediting Trout for injury? Like, Acuna's a monster himself. There's a lot of great young talent, but man, Trout is still Trout. Like, Trout's been in the league so long, people don't realize that, like, he's not 34. Like, he's still 30. Mike Trout's different. Paul Whitlock says Musgrove 5.5 Ks on PrizePicks. All right, cool. Let's get back onto the rails. And come on, guys. Like, Vladimir Guerrero's a monster. Juan Soto's a monster. These guys are on trajectories that look like they're going to be all-timers. Same with Acuna. But what's the sample size we're talking about here? You know what I mean? Like, after Cody Bellinger's rookie season, what did you guys think? And I'm not projecting downfalls for those guys, but Mike Trout's giving you a sample size to know that guy's built different, right? The disrespect, like, he would be a Hall of Famer today, right? Like, what? 6 innings for Joe Musgrove. What did we say? 74 pitches. So if we get to 85, 90, so let's go look at the 80 and the 90 pitch projection on the K Factory. So at 80, I'm getting 6.5. At 90, I'm getting 7.4. So the line is 5.5. So I mean, the numbers do kind of lean me over there. So I wouldn't talk you down off that ledge. question: Sheets missing Philadelphia, Miami, and Washington Pitts for Fanduel main. That's on the Fanduel main. I did not know that. I appreciate that. I will have to add that. Yeah, it is on the Fanduel main. Look at that. Okay, cool. So I'll add that in there at the end of this, if you guys are cool with that, and then I'll talk about that. Man, so we got 2 different main slates. I appreciate that. I'll add that to the bottom, Vinny. Just let me get through the game, and we'll do it. He's just not number 1. It's fair to say he's not number 1, but we had a little bit of slanderous connotations when we said that, right? Number 1 is going to be a revolving chair. Soto will break all the Trout numbers. He might. Once I was really good. Vladdy's really good. This is definitely not a discredit to those guys. But Trout's earned the right to walk around a locker room right now as the GOAT. And he's that dude where you ask every player in baseball who's the best player. And most people say Mike Trout. So what are your thoughts on over-under first inning runs allowed on PrizePicks? Semi-predictable or luck? It's baseball, right? I don't try to predict all of them. There's been a few that I'll be on. Like if it's 2 really, really elite pitchers. But man, even like Garrett Cole, he has such a high hard contact rate. He's liable to let one up, stuff like that. But most teams are throwing their best hitters in the top 3, so it is what it is. My boy Jake was looking at second inning runs allowed. Apparently, it's like the lowest scoring inning in all of baseball the last 80 years or something like that. Maybe PrizePicks will start adding the innings, inning by innings. But yeah, if it's 2 bad teams and 2 above average pitchers, I don't mind taking a shot at it. But generally speaking, that's it's more of a circumstantial or a game by game basis. But you would think most games are hitting the under at a good clip, right? Tigers watching the stream. They heard us. All right, Royals and the Tigers. Did we get the Tigers lineup? We did. Cool. That's all that was. We were just stalling for the Tigers lineup. Tigers lineup is out. Austin Meadows. I hate Austin. Austin's batting leadoff. Jonathan Scope. Batting second. Javi Baez. Jamer Candelario. Miguel Cabrera. Miggy. Akil Badu. He finally got on the board yesterday. So did Spencer Torkelson. Tucker Barnhart. Guys, is it just me, or does this Tigers lineup feel better than the Tigers sound? Right? Is that gonna take some getting used to? I don't know. These names are more fun than I thought they would be coming into the season. Casey Mize up against Zach Greinke. All right, so Zach Greinke, he's not quite on the mad bum levels of frustration for me, but he's certainly never been a guy I roster. Just absolutely no strikeout acumen anymore. Just 17% carry rate last year to righties, 16.7% carry rate to lefties. He's staying alive with a ground ball rate to lefties, but against righties overall, just really, 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 really not what you want. A 280 plus average allowed aggregate the last 2 years against righties, and over 1.5 home run per 9 combined the last 2 years against righties. So we want to pick on him, especially with righties. He is getting lefties out at a better clip. But he's still allowing a lot of contact. So if you're going to allow some contact, I am going to take chances here. So let's go game log here. Let's look at that first game. See what that plate discipline report is telling us. He had a 4.8% swing and strike rate. What is this strikeout problem? Is it like 3.5? I can't tell you how many times I was taking under 4 for Greinke strikeout props last year, and it was just like hitting. They have USFL props on PrizePicks, by the way. So strikeout prop for Greinke on PrizePicks is 3. Okay, well it's probably uncomfortably low. He does have a decent called strike rate, but all right, something to watch. So I don't want to play Greinke though. And then Casey Mize has a real big problem against lefties. What's the temps in this game? 61 degrees. It's Kauffman Stadium. However, it's not like we're dealing with a bunch of 100-degree temps, and this one is a much more pitcher-friendly park. Matter of fact, early on, some of these more so thought about pitcher-friendly parks like Kauffman actually can be neutral to even better than some of these other parks. So I think I'm going to lean more the offense here. I'm definitely going to get into some of these righties against Greinke. Javi Baez is a guy that has a really bad strikeout problem, 31.5% K rate to righties the last couple years. But if we can neutralize that, which we can on a 17% K rate, we can chop that down in half, and looks like he's getting just under 4 on the bomb detector, so that's what you want. So yeah, I might get into some scope, some Javi Baez. I'm not as confident in Miggy, Miggy being where he's at in his career, but he's got a little bit of pop. Akil Baddoo hits righties a decent clip at 831 OPS in the last year or so against, or last 2 years against righties, last year, I guess, for him. And then Austin Meadows, man, he's a beast as well. Like I said, Greinke has been way more serviceable to lefties. Last couple years, a 50% ground ball rate to lefties. I guess that changeup plays into lefties, I would imagine. Greinke throwing fastball, 22% of that changeup. What's his splits looking like so far for batted ball? It's pretty split on 2 and 3, but I guess that happens. What's the batted ball data against lefties so far? Very small sample size. 50% ground ball rate, and then against righties, 25% hard hit rate. Blah 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 blah. All right, cool. So I don't think I won't be playing Zach Greinke today, but I will get to some Tigers, and then Casey Mize, probably not. I think I'd be on both offenses here. Implied run total for the Tigers, 4.1, 4.6 on the Royals. I just don't have a lot of faith in either starting pitcher. Casey Mize was supposed to be better than he has been. Maybe we make sure I'm not missing much on his first start. Did he find anything? Plate discipline. Game log. Plate discipline. 6% swing and strike rate. It is the White Sox. They're a beast, but yikes. 54% first pitch strike rate. Anything on the velo? Is there anything that makes me feel better? 93 on the fastball, 85, 86 on the slider. So what we had last year on his fastball was 93, 85. Okay, so there's nothing, at least in the DNA so far in the one-game sample size, that leads me to believe Casey Mize has found something, same with Zach Greinke. So because of that, I'm probably going to ignore them for my player pool, and I'd be on both offenses to perhaps get on base. If I want to pick on Mize specifically in lesser lineups, 20 or less, like you guys that do grind that. With Mize, we want to pick on him with lefties. So Andrew Benintendi might profile pretty well. I haven't seen Carlos Santana in the lineup lately, but here we are. And then they're really rolling out a lot of righties, which is kind of unfortunate because Greinke, if you look at Greinke and Mize, put their splits together, and they're like a Kyle Hendricks, right? Like Greinke can ground ball lefties to death. Casey Mize can ground ball righties to death. But when you reverse the splits, it's a problem. So yeah, maybe this is just be a super average game of inning eating baseball. But if I wanted to focus on some power, I'd be looking at Javi Baez for the Tigers, Jonathan Scope as well. I want to say Scope got into one yesterday, but don't quote me. And then on the Royals, probably looking at Benintendi maybe to get one over the fence here. I will be stacking in longer lineups, 50 to 100. But front end, I'd probably just be looking at those guys for power. And then anytime Austin Meadows is going to lead off at 3,200 on Fanduel, you probably have to keep an eye on that. Barrel rate at 6.5% for Greinke last year, 10% for Casey Mize. So he's definitely allowing a little bit more squarage of the baseball. Valdo, what up, Valdo? What up, Sheriff? Top 2 best value pitchers with high upside so far, in your opinion, and I appreciate you. Value with upside, Kevin Gausman and Ohtani, right? Has to be. I mean, Gausman, that's taking out the risk. Obviously, Gausman's against a risky team and maybe a little bit of rain, but those guys have shown the true swing and miss potential so far through first game, and they are in matchups that could maybe tap into that. Maybe Ohtani's more of a price point upside thing, because I do have a little respect for the Rangers, but there's still half the lineup that strikes out, 1 in 4 to 1 in 3.5. So those would be the two on DraftKings so far. What do we got? Badu at 6 or 7 feels weird for Detroit, don't it? It's like leadoff or 8-hole. Trout is not the GOAT. Steak is. Steak is pretty lit. I don't really eat a lot of fish. Witt Jr. is going to be good. Yeah, Witt's supposed. So I will say that, and maybe I should have given him a little bit more respect here. Like Seiya Suzuki, Bobby Witt Jr. is way too cheap. Just way too cheap as a talent here. So matchup be darned. Play Bobby Witt under 3K while you still can. You know what I mean? So if you're scripting, make sure he's in your player pool, even if you're not stacking Royals, because he's a little bit of salary relief. Waiting for Austin Riley. I hate Austin. If it's one sport where rings should never be a part of the discussion for individual comparison, it's definitely baseball. But yeah, baseball, you can definitely isolate a player's true talent more so than really any other sport. Any other sport. I'm back. Phone died on me while I was working, but now I'm home. What up, Kickstart? Working out. Oh, working. Okay. We don't work out here. Hold up. What? Look at this guy and his health. Scope had a dong shot. Okay, cool. What up, Tamakas? Imagine a single person who isn't a fan of Royals or Tigers turning into this game. That's for the gamblers. Scooble has been better than Mize. Scooble does have a little bit more strikeout potential. Again, strikeouts aren't everything from a pitching standpoint, at least a real-life pitching standpoint. But I also don't want to draw too many conclusions on one game sample size. But even last year, Scooble showed a little bit more strikeout potential. He just also has like the big Corbin or the big Robbie Ray power allowed stuff, Lux half a total base. No run first inning Braves and Chris Bryant fantasy. No run first inning for the Braves. So you would think so with that total with those pitchers. Gavin Lux. He is... Do we have official Dodgers lineup? He's projected to bat ninth for the Dodgers tonight, so he would have the fewest implied at-bats for the team. You just want him to get on base once against Sessa. And you probably only bank on at least one at-bat against Sessa, and then you're dependent on the bullpen. That bullpen's pretty bad. Yeah, maybe. Half a total base, why not? And then the other one was Chris Bryant fantasy points. Yeah, at home in Coors against Justin Steele. Oh, yeah. I like that one. I'm definitely with you on that one. What Fanduel pitcher on Fanduel? What Fanduel pitcher on Fanduel? From the Department of Redundancy Department. Andrew, let me hold that question because I didn't realize that they had 2 games on the main slate that I didn't study for on the DK main slate. You know what I mean? Where we at? 326. All right, I gotta try and get us out of here in 30 minutes. Right, I'm gonna get you guys to the MLB deeper dive, and then remember I'll be hanging out before lock with Eric on the live before lock. So Rockies hosting the Cubs. Kyle Freeland taking on Justin Steele. Pair of southpaws going at it. Both offenses definitely in play. 5.7 implied run total for the Cubs. 5.9 for the Rockies. About 60 degrees out there. If we want to pick on either pitcher, it's really with righties. Kyle Freeland last year, 182 home run per 9 to righties. 280 average allowed. Now, some of his underlying metrics, right, he's not allowing like a bizarre amount of hard contact or anything like that. But Coors is going to Coors. And at home, he had an over 2 overall home run per 9 to righties, a 300-plus average allowed. So, Coors be Coors, though. On the Cubs side, if Clint Frazier, former Yankee great, leads off, I mean, this is just too much implied value at under 3K as a road leadoff guy in Coors. So, it takes some of that. Patrick Wisdom, I do believe, has the highest grade on the bomb detector right now. I'll reshuffle it just to double check. He does. Now he only has 119 at-bats against lefties, but from what we can tell, he's been really good and really powerful. Maybe we can go a couple years back into his minor league numbers to try and substantiate this, but 100-plus at-bats is nothing to sneeze at. So let's go look at splits from, I don't know, let's go like 2018, 2019, just see if it's in his upcoming DNA. Gets lefties in the minors in 2018. 5 bombs in 78 at bats. Yeah, he's got power. He's got power. No one man should have all that power. So, hey guys, let's keep this simple. We're stacking cores, right? We're stacking both sides. We're gonna be knowledgeable and responsible on where the field's at. I'm just assuming this is the chalkiest game on the slate. Cores is gonna be cores. You can be completely contrarian and say, nah, I'll fade cores, hope for the best. I think that's fine too. Every process when it comes to cores will have its day. Whether you want to be overweight, underweight, you know what I'm saying? You're live no matter what. It's just a matter of your risk tolerance here. And then Justin Steele has been so bad to righties in terms of xFIP 478, 259 average allowed, 208 home run per 9 allowed. Last year to righties. We can look at both pitchers' early stats to see if maybe there's some glimmers of hope. But again, 1 game sample size is probably not going to be enough to get me running and screaming. So let's look at Kyle Freeland first of all. His first game, 10.8% swing and strike rate, 55% first pitch strike. Would like that to be a little bit higher. And then batted ball data for him. Overall, 3.37 xFIP. That's pretty solid, especially against the Dodgers. 36% hard contact rate. And if we split that against righties is what we're focusing on, 273 average. So the average is still up there. That's going to happen. Didn't allow a bomb yet. But what about the fly ball data? To righties, 33% fly ball rate with a 16% ground ball rate, but a 50% line drive rate. So I believe line drives are the most likely to become hits out of the 3 here. I guess ground balls could bleed through. And then a 66% pull rate. So these are big marks in the bomb detector. We're looking for fly ball, line drive, pull rates, because those are where you can really get the sweet spot for the power swing. So nothing in that first start that's scaring me, and Justin Steele has to earn it, but we'll look him up as well just to validate some early thoughts on maybe home run considerations here. And this is one of those spots, if you aren't running 100, 150, and you don't want, like, you don't have the risk tolerance to stay completely away from this game, you just want to grab a couple pieces, that's fine too. We'll try and come up with like 4 names to lean on the most. So Steele in his first start had a 5% swing and strike rate, very similar to Kyle Freeland actually. And then his batted ball data, a 217 xFIP, that's pretty good. 2.3 Sierra, that's pretty good. Again, very, very small sample size, so it is what it is. Ground ball rate was really strong. And then let's look at pitch type, 92. So he's not a velo guy, so he wasn't deucing a lot of ground balls in that first start. And then last year, he was a pretty strong ground ball guy as well. So, yeah. I don't have 4s on the bomb detector for the Rockies, so I think that is the batted ball data doing more work here, taking out the results. The 208 home run per 9 is just not a number that you usually see with this ground ball and this hard contact rate. So I guess he would be due for regression in that matter. I mean, we can look at his minor league numbers to see if he was anyone that had a problem with power, but I would imagine his ground ball rate is so high that it's not. So I don't want to lean on the home run to fly ball rate here, because it doesn't look like I think that would be a little bit spiked just because of the lack of fly ball rate. So it's more than likely going to be more fly balls that are jumping the fence because of that. But let's go look at his data from, what do we want, 2020? 2020 would be his last minor league season, but that also might be shortened. 158. You don't understand how crazy that. Dang lazy mofo, you in here now. I mentioned you earlier. You remember the 30 viewer streams talking baseball because it's the most boring sport on the planet from an analytical standpoint? Isn't this crazy? Isn't this crazy? Against righties in the minors in 2019, 351 average allowed, almost a 2 whip, 1.5 ground out to error ratio with 3 bombs in 22 innings. So I guess he kind of had the same bugaboo where he was a heavy ground ball pitcher, but still had some power allowed. So, yeah. Stat cores. I'm sorry. We spent a lot of time to say stat cores. Bomb detector loves Patrick Wisdom. And if I wanted to pick a guy from the Rockies, Chris Bryant against lefties, I'm in on that. CJ Cron has a 1. OPS against lefties the last 2 years. It's probably what you want. So pretty easy to get to. And one thing I'm noticing here, and I hope this doesn't sustain going forward, because yikes. But why are the Rockies this cheap? You know what I mean? Like, I do something to neutralize the park factor. They used to have a Coors tax on guys where random nobodies would be 5K. There's not one 5K hitter on the Rockies, including Chris Bryant, if he was 5K in Oracle, wouldn't bat an eye. See, like this, the pricing is busted on the Rockies. So, yikes. And heck, we got Frank Swindle at 5K on DK. You know what I mean? Like, I think respectfully they should have higher salaries for just Coors games. You know what I mean? Stat Coors. What up, Neville? What ownership number is too high for a hitter to make a player pool in this slate? So if you're running 150, I tend to personally just stick to the stack ownerships and focus on stacks. But ownership is, in baseball, it pays to be contrarian because of the failure rate being so high, right? We just had this great Mike Trout debate. Well, Mike Trout's a Hall of Famer because 30% of his at-bats end in, a hit. That means 70% of his at-bats don't. So when guys get above 30% in GPPs, and even 30 might be a little bullish, when guys get that high, I think it's definitely worth over 25% is probably enough to start looking the other way, and just accepting the results and hoping that he's not truly optimal. But I don't tend to sweat ownership maybe as much as I should, so I will concede that. But if I was playing just one lineup, 1 to 3 lineups, then I would probably have a heightened sense of appreciation for ownership and trying to be leveraged against that ownership. But I would probably say 25% or greater would be a good starting point to start looking for some pivots, at least unlimited entries if you're truly first or last mentality. You know what I mean? It's easy to get scared off. Fear of missing out for those guys. But baseball, man, it's baseball. And that's hitters only. Do you have a most confident 3 pick? Not yet, Beast Modes, but I would assume you can grab some cores. I know on PrizePicks you can only have 2 hitters from the same team, but you could kind of stack cores, right? You can grab 4 hitters from this game. So depending on what the Cubs do throw out, I'd probably like Wisdom, Suzuki, and then like Chris Bryant, CJ Cron as like 4 guys from this game. If just to stack cores in a card. All right, Dodgers hosting the Reds. Do we have a Dodgers lineup yet? No. We got Luis Sessa, former Yankee great. Used to come out the bullpen for the Yankees. Up against Walker Mueller. We got a 3.3 run total for the Reds and a 5.4 run total for the Dodgers. So, baseball class is in session, right? You guys trying to project wins and stuff like that. When you're looking at Vegas odds, usually when you get close to the minus 300s, that's about the extreme for baseball. That's about as high as you're going to see for a pitcher to have an implied win. So minus 275 isn't quite there, but you're going to see some minus 300, some minus 310, stuff like that. Walker Buehler's probably the largest favorite on the season so far, unless you guys disagree with that? Has there been a crazy lopsided? So Walker Buehler, for those of you that play on Fanduel, knowing that he got to 78 pitches in his first start, could get to 80, 85 here, got through 5, is a large implied favorite here. Maybe on Fanduel, he profiles as one of the guys you would give a little weight to the probability of him getting a win, and then potentially getting through 6 innings of 3 or less earned runs allowed, which would give him that quality start. The Reds implied for just 3.3. That's also one of the lowest numbers you're going to find on a slate when teams are implied for 3 or less. And usually my rule is no matter who it is, if a team gets to like 2.5 runs on the OU, I usually just take the over and hope for a bloop and a blast and a bullpen shot. So with that said, this is one of our most dominant pre-flop spots that we've seen so far. So Walker Buehler, 9,700 on DraftKings. Welcome to the chat. Walker Buehler has entered the chat. So we're going to put Buehler in the mix here. I'm going to put him above Gausman and Ohtani just because I think his matchup's a little bit more watered down than the other two, right? Gausman could get in some power issue problems against that Yankees lineup. Votto's a beast, but there's enough 1 and 5 to better strikeout numbers in this lineup, and it is going to be more of a pitcher environment. So I do like Walker Buehler. I mean, the barrel rates on this lineup is so bad, and I also think a lot of this ISO, I don't want to discredit it, but this is a team that plays in Great American Ballpark, so some of these guys that have been in GABP the last year or two are going to have generally better power numbers. But Votto's a beast, so I'm not writing him off. But Walker Buehler probably now enters the chat as the number 1 graded pitcher in terms of strikeout propensity, matchup, implied win, implied quality start. So we like him. And what do we say for a pitch count on Buehler? We might get to 85, 90. So let's put 90 pitches in the strikeout factory. We're getting 7 strikeouts. That's good. And then let's go look at... I'm going to look at it, but I do want to say that Coors plays differently for pitchers for a reason. It's thinner air up there in the altitude. Not quite the Denver Nuggets, right? But I'm not going to overrate or underrate the one-game batted ball data up there. I'm more so looking for swing and strike rates. He had just a 9% swing and strike rate in that game. Last year, he walked out of the season with 11.6% total swing and strike rate, so not completely. Yeah, it's close enough that I'm willing to be there on him. And then an 86% first pitch strike. You just love numbers like that. I mean, that's just beautiful. Let's move this back to last year. Just kind of show you. Swing and strike rate did have some volatility at the end of last year, some 5%, 8%. We're looking for double digits. We'd like to see 12 plus, but more than likely just 10% plus. Get in front of the counts. And then the beginning of that season, he saw a lot of 12 pluses, and that was probably more so the sticky stuff era of the season. We are seeing RPMs and spin rates go back up. They have adopted a new form of rosin that has been more friendly to pitchers, so maybe that's something to look at for Walker Buehler as well. But I just think I don't want to overthink and overanalyze data, paralysis by analysis. I'm playing Walker Buehler against this Reds lineup. And if ownership was a little too much on the seesaw, yeah, we get to a little Reds stacks, but I think the Dodgers bullpen is still pretty doggone strong as well. And they got a lot of rest yesterday. Clayton Kershaw was able to eat some time in a controversial decision, right? You guys arguing Trout. Why is you arguing whether or not Kershaw should have stayed in that game? So who might come out to pen today? Well, it looks like everyone, right? If I'm looking at the last 2 days, yeah, they had Monday off. A couple of 20 bombs here 2 days ago. Graterol through 20. He's a velo guy. But it looks like everyone, if their number was called, would probably be available. If this game lives up to this lopsided total, maybe it's not so much the leverage guys, the Blake Trinans and the Graterol, stuff like that. Maybe some more of the get me over guys, the Tyler Andersons, David Price would probably be an option. But if Walker Buehler went 6-7 innings here, it doesn't matter. So I'm in on Buehler. Sessa last year, pretty solid against lefties, 64 total innings of sample size. He's the guy that has been largely a bullpen guy throughout his career, so some of these numbers might be positively or negatively skewed. But generally speaking, he can get got, and we don't need to overrate Sessa and whoever follows him against the Blue Jays lineup. 1.2 innings of work, the 7th and the 10th, so we're only going to get 1 or 2 innings from him anyway. And then who's backing him up today? It's going to be San Martin, lefty. He threw 2.1 innings, so this could be turned into a bullpen game, although I think Martin's somebody they expect to last longer. 58 pitches, so maybe 65, 70. I don't think he played last year, but I could throw him in the just as an exercise, throw him in the thing to see what the bomb detector says. San Martin. Yeah, there's no sample size on him. So what we will do is go look at his minor league stuff. It does, like, I'm probably doing the most here. We don't need to do all this. It's the Dodgers. But we need to research. Last year, San Martin in the minors. Against righties, 12 innings, 167 average allowed, a 0.75 whip with a 183 ground out to air out ratio. So really good ground ball numbers. One homer in those, or excuse me, no homers in those 12 innings. And then 2019, .47 innings against righties, 145 ground out to, or excuse me, 145 whip, a 239 ground out to air out ratio, 285 average allowed. Average is going to be a little higher with the ground ball rate like that. 5 homers in 47 innings. Not insane, but again, this is also 3 years ago, so he's had 3 years of progress. It's also the Dodgers. I'm just trying to see if this kid would play spoiler here and just like ground ball this offense. The Dodgers offense, while they are like just on paper like the best team in baseball, probably. Like even the other night when they went off on the Twins, it wasn't like 8 homers in a row. They were just nickel and dime, and then Luis Arias was having a terrible day at third base. So let's go batted ball data for this year. Ground ball rate is 37.5%. That's not what you want, or that's not consistent with his history. 25% fly ball rate, 37.5% line drive rate. So it looks like the line drive rate here is kind of digging into his ground ball rate. We'll probably see that progress. It may not be against the Dodgers though. So ultimately, we are stacking Dodgers. We're not stacking, or we could stack Reds just to be contrarian. We're not playing any Reds pitchers. I mean, dip into this Reds bullpen. They have just been atrocious. So full stack the Dodgers. Hope for 9 quality innings, and that Dave Roberts doesn't get too freaky with the double switches. So that's what we got on the DraftKings main slate. Now, I've recently learned that there's 2 more games on the Fanduel main slate. So if you guys that are subscribed to RunDFS.com are looking for those games, I'm going to go ahead and add them to the bottom of the index portal, so it's not going to be chronologically correct. However, all of it evens out in the wash. So let's type them up here and put them in the bottom. And then, do you guys have any home run calls? Huh? Anybody going Yabo? You got that feeling in your bad knee with the storm coming in? Let's go Nationals against Brubaker. We got Cesar Hernandez, Juan Soto, Nelson Cruz. I think I put 2 spaces in Soto. I did. Josh Bell, Kybert Ruiz, Gadiel Hernandez, Michael Franco, Alcides Escobar, D. Strange Gordon. Pitcher. Did you guys see he pitched the other day throwing right-handed to Ozzie Albies, and Albies batted right-handed. He's a switchy and hit a homer. Obviously, it doesn't matter because it was a position player, but kind of fun. Baseball can get fun sometimes, even in the blowouts. As we saw with Brett Phillips the other day in Tampa. Hoy Park. Today Park. All right, these are our confirmed liners for Pirates and Nationals. Jonah Doan and JT Brubaker. Neither of these guys I want to go out of my way to roster. Adon does give us a little bit of strikeout acumen from the minors. I actually played him in that last start. He was like 4K, and I think he ran into who got him? Was it Soto or Nelson Cruz? He ran into some problems. He's one of those guys that I just thought was too cheap on not too cheap, but it was cheap enough for me to take some stabs and get some salary for my bats. 234 average allowed, 236 to lefties, other to righties. are decent strikeout numbers. The home run numbers could be better. 6 homers, 54 innings to righties, 1 to lefties. So it looks like he has more of a home run problem to righties in the minors. The ground ball rate is 1.3 ground out to air out ratio, and the whip is 1.2 or greater. So not necessarily somebody we're running from, but are we running to stack Pirates on that Fanduel slate? Probably not. But if you got into some Vogelback, keep Brian Hayes, guys like that. Ben Gamel, sure, I wouldn't mind it. And then JT Brubaker, 4.6 expected ERA, 1.3 whip. Not what you want for tournament upside. I wish they would flatten these start times for all these games just to make it easier on me. But, yeah, I don't think I would run to play Brubaker against the Nats here. And his 1.94 homer per nine to righties last year, I think we discussed how his batted ball data is like, whoa, like ground ball rate's great, the hard contact's low. Why are we having problems with homers? But he still maintains some problems with homers, and I think we saw that in that last outing. So who hits homers for the Nats? Well, I can think of 3 names off the top of my head that we'd probably want to get some access to. That's Juan Soto, Nelson Cruz, and Joshua Bell. So I'd probably lean there. Just an implied run total 4.4 for the Nats, 4.8 on the Pirates, and then we will add the Phillies and the Marlins. And I do think we would get to some pitching in this game if you have a decent risk tolerance. We'll go Phillies against righties. We've got Kyle Schwarber in the leadoff spot, JT Realmuto, Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, Reese Hoskins, Didi Gregorius, Johan Camargo. I think he used to play for the Braves, Camargo, I want to say. I could be wrong. Kyle Gibson on the bump for the Phillies. We'll activate that. We'll go Marlins against a righty here. Jorge Soler, Garrett Cooper, Jesus Sanchez, Jesus Aguilar, Avisel Garcia, Joey Wendell, Jacob Stallings, Miguel Rojas, Jazz Chisholm, and then Sandy Alcantara on the bump here for the Marlins. Chad, do you guys think I'm the fastest typer in DFS? I mean, just be honest with me. Just be honest. This song is called Big Mac Whopper. What is this about? Okay. So he's just saying Big Mac Whopper over and over. This is like the anthem for fat people everywhere. Big Mac Whopper. All right, well, Big Mac Whopper. So Sandy Alcantara and Kyle Gibson. I definitely want to get some access to Alcantara on the Fanduel slate. The reason being, he's just like a good pitcher. Now, he does have some problems to left. He's 3.93 xFIP last year. But the ground ball rate, the swing and strike rate, really, really good. So I think he has a ceiling worth getting some access to. Obviously, this Phillies offense is really doggone good, powerful, and scary. So we probably play both sides of that. But if you are able to throw 50 to 100 lineups out there on Fanduel, Alcantara has upside worth chasing, and he was really, really good, especially at home last year. 195 average allowed, 0.63 home run per nine, a 5% walk rate. So even if he does get into a little bit of a jam, he's not going to create it himself, right? He's not walking guys to get in a jam. So I do like the thought of getting to some Alcantara. 4 implied run total for the Phillies, 4.2 for the Marlins. Not overly enthralled in pitching from these extra 2 games, but Alcantara would have to make the list. Kyle Gibson might be a little bit overvalued after that first start against a notably strikeout prone. Why do I keep doing this? Notably strikeout prone Athletics. It was that A's, right? Team. And with that said, the Marlins do offer a little bit of strikeout propensity here. Soler, Cooper, Jesus Sanchez, Avi Garcia, all 1 and 4 or better. But he's not really a strikeout guy. 10% swing and strike rate last year, 9% the year before. More so a contact guy. If he still has some strikeouts, cool. 9.8K, I just feel like that's just a little bit out of my comfort zone here. So, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's one of those spots. Am I running to stack the Marlins? Probably not. Am I running to pitch against them? Probably not from a 10K guy when at that price range. That's a down payment on Ohtani and a couple of other guys. So if you're looking for those games for our Fanduel VIPers at RunDFS.com, it's at the bottom of the spreadsheet. If you guys want to get into that spreadsheet and you don't already have access, go to RunDFS.com, click VIP memberships, boom, scroll down, try a week pass, get in the Discord. I'm going to be hanging out in the voice chat for about an hour or so, and then I'll jump on with Eric in the live before lock. Got a couple minutes left, answer some questions and acknowledge some bomb calls, and then we'll go from there. By the way, we have a completely free Discord as well. Link to that in the description below. And if you ain't got time to make 150 lineups or 50 lineups, something like that, but you got that feeling in your bad knee, you're like, man, I just know Chris Bryant's going to be a good play. I just know CJ Cron's going to back him up, stuff like that. Well, hey, you can get a little bit of action without going full sending by going to prizepicks.com, putting together a couple of cards, maybe correlating a couple of hitters together, maybe tapping into the strikeout prop world, stuff like that. You can also, handcuff those picks to many other sports like NBA tomorrow. It's back. Josh actually sent me a video. I have to edit it and get it up tonight. USFL is coming. I'm not really going to pretend to know USFL, but there's a lot of other different sports. So you can keep the prop bet grind going and have some fun. Simplify the sweat by getting on PrizePicks. If you sign up using code GUNDACKER, they will double your first deposit up to $100. And then, of course, once a month, they show me some love because you guys show them some love while mentioning me. It's a whole love circle, triangle, and all you need is love. I don't know. It's so weird. Hey, sign up for PrizePicks. All right, let's get caught up on chat here, and then I'll get up out of here. Big Mac Whopper, let's go. Yeah. Torkelson, Merrifield, Soto are your dongs. I'm with that. Music made with actual noises from people eating Big Macs and Whoppers. Yes. There's some ASMR for you. You guys got MLB TV? They got these like ASMR commercials now. Would you prioritize Morton or Alcantara and Fanduel single entry? Oh, I think that's good. That's a good question. I would imagine Morton's going to carry higher ownership just because Alcantara's matchup is perceptually tougher. If I'm chasing strikeouts specifically, let's see, Alcantara, what do we give him as a pitch count? 80 to 90? If I give him 80 to 90 pitches in this park, or excuse me, I clicked the wrong one. I'm getting 6 to 7 strikeouts. That's probably similar as Morton. I think, I might prioritize Morton, but just for the sake of ownership, I think the Phillies lineup will scare a lot of people away from Alcantara. He's got a lot of stuff going his way. So depending on your risk tolerance, I like Alcantara's ceiling a little bit more than Morton, but I think Morton has a safer floor and a better shot at getting you 6 innings, quality start, maybe a win. I think the Phillies are probably implied for the win here. So Morton's probably the safer play. But if you're chasing ceiling, I think Alcantara can definitely be lower owned and go off. Buehler or Ohtani? For me, it's going to be Buehler. I just think his matchup's weaker. Maybe I over-respect the Rangers, but I do got respect for some of the pop in their bat. The roof's open in Globe Life, so yeah. Any PrizePicks MLB locks? Not yet, JF, but maybe I can come up with a couple, 1 to 3, and I'll put it in the free Discord in a little bit. So make sure you're in the free Discord. Under first innings, maybe the San Diego game. Braves no-run first inning, you think so? I can get with that. Relax with the Big Mac Whopper blasphemy. I think we got too many hot takes today to start that debate. I don't really have... honestly, I would probably say Whopper, though. Charbroiled. Hey, shout out to OG Wall, Les, S Banks, Can't Stop, Cash Money Classic, Big Money, Raf, Cam Loco. Man, all these guys since yesterday jumped in the free Discord. You guys can do the same. Links in the description below. And check this out, man. All night long. Sweating together, rooting for each other. Josh has been in there talking NBA, all that good stuff. I popped my head in there. And then, hey, anybody you guys play MLB The Show? I got this little channel going. Once the server stabilizes a little bit, I would love to run some 2v2, some 3v3, stuff like that. But make sure you're in that free Discord. Try to add more and more value. And then tonight, Josh has a video for his first look at the NBA slate for tomorrow. And I don't know, maybe the weekend. That's going to launch tonight, and it's going to be viewable by the channel members only first, and then I'll launch it for free at 6 a.m. So little extra thank you for you guys that are channel members with the logo next to your name in chat. So look out for that tonight. Alcantara top ownership on FanDuel tonight. Oh, okay. Well, then I would go the other way. I don't have a pulse on ownership right now. Top 3 FanDuel pitchers and top 3 FanDuel hitters. So Alcantara in mine. I also really like Walker Buehler, Kevin Gossman, and Shohei Ohtani. And then also for Fanduel, I think Charlie Morton's and Joe Musgrove strong plays. Can't really throw a net over the wind with those guys, but maybe we get the quality start. And then the hitters, man, it's got to be the Coors guys, right? I'll probably run a lot of Patrick Wisdom and Suzuki at CJ Cron and Chris Bryant. It's going to be cool and chilly tonight in LA. Good pitching weather. Yeah. You like Ohtani over 6.5 strikeouts on PrizePicks? I can tell you what the projection says. On the 4th, he threw 80 pitches. So we'll go 80 to 90 pitches again here on Ohtani's Ohtani-san. And since the Rangers lineup is confirmed, so if we give 90 pitches to Ohtani, I get 6.6 strikeouts. So it is slightly on the over, but it's not a smash. Matter of fact, it's barely on the over. So you said 6.5, right? Yeah, I'm probably not running to that. Grinding face of the franchise programs right now. Nice. Imagine a Whopper with 1,000 island dressing, and we might have something. And that Carl's Jr. I used to manage a Carl's Jr. in Dallas when they used like special sauce, but it was really just 1,000 island dressing. Free Discord, yeah, it's in the. Wait, you're not in the free Kickstart? I see in the chat every day. You're not in the free Discord. How you doing it? Yo, Gun, the Discord link isn't working for me right now. I got you. 1 second. Unless you mean the free one, right? So the free one is invite, copy. I'll put it in chat. Cubs lineup just came out. All right, we'll type in the Cubs lineup, and then we'll get you out of here. Be sure, hey guys, I'm gonna be back in an hour or so on the Osmo Live before lock. So hang out with me and Eric. But also, if you're not hanging out with me in the Run DFS Discord, you should be watching the Osmo shows. Springer, Bo Bichette, Vladdy Jr., yikes, Lord Escorial. Raimel Tapia is batting 5th. Ha! Alejandro Kirk, Calvin Biggio. I hope that clip doesn't come back to bite me tonight. And then Bradley Zimmer. So Blue Jays lineup did come out a little weaker than usual. What else did we say just came out? The Cubs lineup. Do we have Frazier leading off or nah? Let's look at MLB. By the way, in these MLB chats down here. Hey. Yo, El Cuatro Loco, I appreciate that sub. I didn't see. You said the Cubs lineup, right? Am I tripping? Look at your desktop. That was the same. I'm on an iPhone. I think my. Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right, well, that's what we got here. Guys, I don't know what the content schedule is going to look like for tomorrow. We're going to try to do something. Definitely going to have a live stream for NBA. So bear with me. I'll have it scheduled. You guys can check in the morning or whatever, and you'll see what the upcoming schedule is for our content here on this channel. But I'm going to go jump in the rundfs.com voice chat for a little bit, carve out my player pools, my lineup, stuff like that. And then, like I said, we're headed to Osmo, so be sure to check that out. Twitter.com/Gundacker if you got anything else for me. And then, yeah, man, I appreciate you guys. If you wouldn't mind, hit that thumbs up on your way out. This is probably the highest viewed MLB stream we've ever had on this channel, so I am very much humbly appreciative of you guys for checking it out. And as always, I appreciate you making part of my day, be part of your day, man. Hey, tell somebody you love them, because I love you. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.